Hi guys, I'm Mare, and you may already know that if you've watched my previous videos. If not, welcome. I'm glad you're joining me today. I actually want to talk about a topic I'm really passionate about. It is related to books, I promise. It's not book related, but it's kind of more insight into me and what I like. So I think we're going to start off with a book that I really enjoyed and kicks off this topic, which is The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. So I first read White's works in the Conqueror Saga actually this year. I hadn't read her before, and I was sucked in. She is such a great writer, has so much political intrigue that's well done, morally great characters. There's a lot to love about her books. And so when I saw she was doing a retelling of Arthurian myth, I was like, I'm over this. I am getting this book. And I was even more excited when I realized that Owl Great was going to do it. So it was like awesome. I was so thrilled. Arthurian myth is something I'm really passionate about. I got obsessed with it when I was a little girl. I think I've been obsessed with it since I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I would read like the children's stories of the Knights of the Round Table. Except, did I ever want to be one of the girls? No. I wanted to be one of the sorceresses, like Morgan Le Fay, or I wanted to be one of the knights. So I've always been so intrigued by Morgan Le Fay. And there was a book, and I cannot remember its title, so I want you guys to help me find it. It was about Morgan Le Fay. It was either middle grade or a youth book. It was probably published in the 90s or the 2000s. It had a green cover. It had like a face on it, I believe. I know that's not really descriptive, and as someone who's training to be a librarian to get her and getting her MLIS, I could be a lot more descriptive. But I can't remember what it's called, and I loved that book. It was like a whole retelling of her from when she was a little girl all the way to when she was an adult, and it was amazing. And I was sucked into that. T.A. Barron's Merlin, Young Merlin series, I was all over that. I was also really into Marion Zimmer Bradley when I was growing up as well. My mother had a lot of her books, and specifically Mists of Avalon. And that kind of just reinforced my love of really strong female characters. Especially when they were doing really powerful magic and they were overcoming the odds. And so it was one reason I was really excited to see Kiersten White's depiction of Guinevere, because her Lotta character was so good. And I was not let down. I really liked Guinevere's depiction here because she was a strong character. And she had, just such power to me. And I've always loved that when you get really powerful female characters who have faults. And that's kind of important to acknowledge too, is that these strong and powerful female characters don't have to be perfect. They can have faults, and that's what makes them wonderful. So obviously I'm very excited for the next book in the series, and I'm really curious to where it's going to go. So I think the Arthurian legends are just a huge impact on me. And this kind of ties into my whole love of witches. And it's kind of in the same topic. And my thoughts on that, I'll do that in a different video on witches and female power. And there's a lot to do with that. And things I've been thinking about, and like just the strength of women in themselves, and something so enchanting about it. There's something really special about it. It's sort of romantic. I'm not sure I'd really call it romantic per se, but I think there is something to be said for the fact that it has some, idealizations. It's got quests, it's got mystery, it's got a bit of everything, and it's, outdated, but that's what I love about seeing all these updated retellings of these older myths and legends. It's really unique, but I think that's one of my favorite parts about mythology and legends and folktales. They can be reinvented, they can be changed, they can be modernized. The parts that aren't so great or don't hold up anymore can be changed, and they can be modified. And I think that's one reason I've really loved some of the recent reboots of the Arthurian myth. Merlin's BBC. I loved that show so much. I think I cried that last episode. I think I spent like an hour after that just sobbing with tears. So yeah, I guess you could say my passion for mythology and folklore came from my love of Arthurian myth at a young age. And I love anything to do with that now in general. But there's just something that I'm still drawn to it even today. Someone goes, Camelot or King Arthur, and I'll go, hi, yes, me, I'm interested. I don't know. It's just magical to me. It always pulls me back. I guess it's like that cross between something that could have happened and it exists in the real world. There's just that, don't you just wish that it really was something like that, such a great world or a great kingdom that once existed and no longer exists. You know, it's kind of like it's just like some of the Greek myths, you know, where you hear about all these legends and stories, and it's like these old antiquarians are like, well, this is what happened, this must be right from the myth, and it's really not. But if there's something so you know, poignant about it, something that is so humanized and you can relate to it, and I think that's really powerful for me. Anyways, if you want to talk about with me anymore, feel free to leave a comment below, or if you have any retelling suggestions for me, leave them in the comments. I'm always looking for new retellings, especially mythology and folklore. Kevin Hearn, who wrote the Iron Jude Chronicles, which I'm really behind on. Those are some excellent books. So yeah, please leave me any suggestions you've got down in the comments. I'm really curious to see what you guys like. But yeah, let me know what else you would like to see, and I hope you guys are going to have an awesome month and that you are going to tune in for my next one.